Hello, Bloodstains, and welcome to this Season 12 Round 6 matchup. And what a matchup as it is. Recapper versus recapper. Who will come out on top, and will the loser ever be able to live it down? Well, let's find out. Goblins versus Pro Elves. As you can see, the chainsaw going past, the fanatic, a bomber, lots of secret weapons, quite some high TV teams. That makes good sense for the Goblin team. And of course, this is where myself and the Goblin coach don't always agree. He's taken another fanatic, whereas potentially against a Pro Elf team, I would have opted for the Looney. I'd have had those two chainsaws on the pitch, tearing through that AV7. But this is just a difference in play styles. He's used the fanatics to pretty good effect this season. He's got a different preference there to me, so let's see if it pays off in this match. We just had the kickoff, and we've got the Pro Elves are going to be on the defense. As always, bringing up those skills, just the skills that they've earned. You can see in the Pro Elf lineup, he's got a 2-move catcher. That makes him a massive, massive threat. And as we're all hoping that he gets onto the wrong end of a chainsaw in this game. And of course, he has his plus agility catcher there. Be interesting to see what he will take on another skill up there. Might take some leap. Plenty of choices though. And down here, it looks like the Goblins are doing the right thing, trying to keep their team a bit lean. He's managed to get a level up on his fanatic and given it grab. That's a pretty good skill there for that fanatic. He's got a dirty player. 1-star player point off from leveling up. You may want to avoid leveling that one up. You don't want a lot of skills on your Goblins. You want to keep that TV nice and low. But let's see what happens. Here comes the kick. Cheering fans both get a reroll. I'm sure when we go to look at this, yes, of course, he's got the 3 bribes. That's what you want on the Goblin team with all those secret weapons. And the Pro Elves have the +1 fame there. So we know Smithy took the Goblins. I'm just going to have a nice relaxed season, kill a few plays and enjoy myself. But of course his competitive instincts have kicked in. And he is actually becoming very, very competitive with this Goblin team. So opening move with the Fanatic, bringing that grab into play. That's my argument sometimes with the Fanatics. They don't always go where you want them to go. Obviously, when they do hit, they can be very, very effective. But we're just going to dance around those lines for now. Get that blitz in with the chainsaw. We all love the... And down he goes, straight away an injury. Just like to say, as a bit of a upfrontness here, I'm not having any digs at the Goblins' choices, preferences and teams. Cards on the table, I do prefer the chainsaws. I'm not trying to have a subtle dig or a rib there. Oh, and of course, down goes the Looney. Of course, that is the downside of the chainsaws. If the opposition can get to them and get them off the pitch, then they're going to. But sometimes you have to make that decision. There's no point having the chainsaws on the pitch if you never use them. So in this instance, at least a fanatic, that's not as likely to happen. Well, you knock them down, they do go off the pitch, but they're much, much harder to knock down. Getting an elf scream going. Try and get some damage in with those fanatics. Of course, moving up, if he can get that marking those two elves, even though he doesn't hit them down, they're certainly not going to blitz away. Oh, he gets the smack, takes the reroll, but gets to put him where he wants him. Down he goes and knocks him out. So not to be misunderstood, when the fanatics work, they can really work. Getting those trolls into position. Looks like he's got Ripper as well. Ripper's always a pretty good star player choice, and a KO going down. He is getting those pro elves off the pitch. He's lost one. Pro elves are down 3. The Goblin has a player advantage at the moment. Not that that generally phases pro elves, of course, with their high agility, and they're not the fastest moving elf team. Oh, there we go. Did he get an injury there? Bang. And another injury on the journey, but that's another player off the pitch. Definitely worth it. Of course, Fungus does have Mighty Blow. I don't think they come with them as standard. No, they don't. And a Goblin off the pitch. And on a KO. Sidestep Goblin. Sidestep's not a bad skill, but every skill on a Goblin team is a little bit less inducement money to buy those things. And getting in there to mark that ball carrier. Well, looked like he may. Of course, the Pro Elf coach, well-known Kislev coach as well, does know how to put that leap to some pretty good effect there. Well, he is right next to a troll. We'll see what happens. Getting those fanatics in. Sorry, the Loon. No, they are fanatics. Getting those fanatics in. And of course, again, he's just going to have a little dance around the Pro Elves. But I'd say that those fanatics have earned their money so far this half. They've gotten a few of those elves off the pitch. I just find it a little frustrating when they do that sort of, we're just going to dance around and not really be able to hit anything. But like I said, they have actually done pretty well so far this half. Moving Ripper down, try to free up that ball carrier. Leveled up Pro Elf team, you're going to see a lot of blodge on there. Maybe you can... No. But hey, at least he's on the floor, allowing him to decide what... And we get the foul in. Oh, we've got a sent off. Will he uses the bribe. Of course, with his Chainsaw out for the rest of the game, he can definitely afford that to keep that one goblin on the pitch. Didn't move the ball carrier up. Oh, and another goblin off the pitch. So probably wise to have used that bribe. Looking like we're going to have a very high casualty game, but of course, with goblins, that sometimes is to be expected. Proel's down a few players. They're going to have to make the best use as they can of that high agility and maybe try to get a bit of a mobile screen going. Oh, went for that, go for it. Yeah, take the re-roll. Oh, and he fails to go for it. And he's off the pitch. That was just unfortunate. He did have the re-roll. It was just a shame that that re-roll had failed. On the bright side, having your secret weapons being taken off the pitch just gives you more for keeping foulers on the pitch when they get sent off. Still anyone's game. Oh. And Pro Elves. Oh, nearly doing what Pro Elves do. Look at that. Intercept by the troll. Possibly a bit of a shame that being Ripper. But hey, he doesn't have really stupid. He could potentially run Ripper up the pitch for a touchdown there. See it smacking into the prone players. Oh, behaving himself this time, but not getting those injury rolls. But quite a good position, and of course, when there was just one in front, of course he does no worries, gets two in front, and he misses the both of them. But hey, that's Blood Bowl. That's how we go. Does it on the 3 dice. Getting that blitz in there with Ripper. Of course, blocking with the ball carrier always a bit risky, but hey, he's a troll. He gets the KO. He's looking like a good position there. Whether he's going to play it safe. Oh, dirty player foul. Here we go. And it's another KO. I think at this stage, I know it's probably tempting to get the ball away from that star player, but he's got the ball. He's going to be difficult to stop. If I was the Goblins at this stage, I'd just be looking to score with Ripper. Of course, we'll see what he does. And a failed dodge there, trying to get away from the troll. Even with elves and re-rolls and dodge skills, that does happen. Looks like he's going to go for the touchdown on Ripper. Pro Elves being a bit down on numbers. They might have to risk a 2 dice uphill block there. But hey, they can pull off. They can do. Sometimes you've just got to risk them. Of course, moving that Fanatic into position. They're okay to get into the position. They move in the roll, and he's got it on there. Oh, he tried to re-roll on the loner. Unfortunately, that does happen. But hey, he's KO'd. He's KO'd. He has the option of risking it, spending the bribe, and hoping he wakes up at some point. And a death! We have a dead elf, but on an unleveled up thrower. Getting excited, only to have our hopes dashed. Well, we'll look at the dice log. No, he didn't use a reroll. Yeah, an apothecary, sorry. And it's a definite death on there. Not to digress too much. Oh, a failed dodge. And a stun. Another failed dodge for the Pro Elves. Unfortunately, sometimes that is the way. Now this will be risky. No block, 2 dice, a loner. That's okay. Knock him out the way. Oh no, of course no dodge there. He's looking open there for a touchdown. Of course we get the really stupid coming up there. So yes, not to digress too much. I'm not looking forward to my game against these Pro Elves. I think that Pro Elf team to me is the favourites to win the season. Oh, and a sent off. Now he's going to let him go. Keeping the 2 bribes. Looks like he may be bribing the ref to keep the knocked out one on the pitch there. If he does go for the touchdown with Ripper, he's definitely got 1 touchdown in the bag. Personally, I wouldn't risk it. You don't want the Goblins levelling up too much. It doesn't matter if they... Oh, that was turn 8. What happened? Did I miss something there? He didn't score with Ripper. Let's just rewind that back a little bit. Let's make sure that we're not missing something there. Oh, no, he's going to let Fungus get sent off. Let's just have a quick look at that last turn. Turn 8. Ripper's not moved. He really stupid's there. Doesn't go for the touchdown. I'm sure there'll be a story behind that. I'm sure that will come up in the recap. That's very surprising there. Maybe it was a misclick. It is possible he went to move something down in the bottom right corner of the screen and accidentally hit the end turn button. That does happen. It's very frustrating when it does happen. So we go into the second half with 0-0. So the Goblins brought their bomber on. They still have their 2 bribes for fouling. Of course, he's taken enough injuries. Of course, he may have had, even if he'd woken up from being KO'd, he would have had to put him on the pitch. It would have been a waste of a bribe. Oh no, that would have been at the start of the second half. Yeah, but if he doesn't wake up, then it's a waste of a bribe. I had a chainsaw knocked off, went for the bribe, stayed out for the rest of the game. So I'd say that was pretty much a good call there. Get some more of those fouls in. We're still where we are. So we got very sunny. Probably just bad for the Pro Elves. Not the end of the world. Smithy's not big on throwing teammate outside of some kind of real desperation play. That is how you play the Goblins a little bit more competitively. Pro Elves possibly breathing a big sigh of relief. The bomber could be a bit of a pain, but probably not quite as scary as the chainsaws, not as scary as having those fanatics whirling their ball and chain around. Still anyone's match going into this second half. Moving those goblins up into position. It's very difficult. The Pro Elves can very easily get the ball from the top of the one end of the pitch straight down the other end of the pitch. Yeah, get him smacked and down. Come on. No. Moves that bomber up. Bases with the bomber. That's interesting. No interception for the troll this time. Oh. Going out of his way, blitzing out. I can see maybe trying to get a tackle zone there and blocking him in a little bit. And running off out with the ball and getting that touchdown. Forcing the Goblins to decide whether they're going to spend that re-roll on keeping the bomber on the pitch. I'd possibly consider that. Having the bomber is when he, like everything on the Goblin team, when he works, he's pretty effective. We got 5 casualties there, as you can see on the Goblins, 3 on the Pro Elves. A knocked out player comes back. Pro Elves 1-0 down, outnumbering the God. Of course, we've got to take into account the reserves. Oh, is he going to keep the bomber? He keeps the bomber. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still looks like it's outnumbered. Pro Elves. 3 trolls on the pitch. The Goblins could still come back. They could still get their touchdown. It looks like the Pro Elves are setting up just in case he does decide to go for a throw teammate. At this point, going for the throw teammate first, that would be understandable, just to see if it pulls off. Am I going for the victory? Am I going for the tie? And there's the kickoff, and both teams get another reroll. Right there onto the cheering half. I always enjoy watching games with Goblins in it. They are probably the most entertaining team in Blood Bowl. It gets that with the grab. Bang, and another injury there for the Gobbos. On a lineman, but hey. That looked like definitely no apothecary for there. And again, probably a wise move. Oh, smacks it away with the... and follows up with the bomber. The Goblins have used that bomber to pretty good effect in this season. Oh, and he fails to pick up. Oh, he re-rolls it. Not sure I would have re-rolled that myself. Hey, but it all worked out. That's absolutely fine. Still a turnover, but he does end up with the ball. My point would have been the Pro Elves weren't in a position to really capitalise on that too much, but I think there is a psychological effect of you don't want that ball out there in the open with a passing team like that. Still a good close game. He's moved those trolls forward. He might go for the throw teammate now on Ripper. Or he may, of course, looks like he may be slowly just grinding up that field. Of course, going for a throw teammate this early in the game could still result in a Pro Elf victory, so this is probably the better choice. Try and take that catcher out, no avail. Pro Elves, of course, pretty much have the best catchers in all of Blood Bowl. Going for the blitz on the troll. Oh no, a leap. Must remember the leap. For 1 dice on the ball carrier. And bosh, down he goes. Another injury. Runs up the wrestle guy. Still keeping some Pro Elves in that backfield there. Throw teammate's unreliable, but it does pull off. Not much in the way of opportunities for that bomber. Of course, against an Agility 4 team, if they catch that bomb, they're going to chuck it right back at you. There goes Ripper. Down he goes for a smack. And it's a stun. We've got the push. Got some good tackle zones on that ball. Oh, fails the dodge. Takes the reroll. Reroll pays off. Oh, and a double skull. Wrestle, not going to be a turnover then. Getting that foul in makes the ball a little bit more vulnerable, but hey, taking off a player is definitely the way forward here, but he gets the stun. Still has some trouble tackle zones on the ball. Oh, fouling the go for it. Both teams doing pretty well in preserving their re-rolls, only using them when they really, really need to stop those turnovers. Oh. Pushes the ball out into the open. Picks it up with his Agility 5 catcher. The Goblins having put up a really good fight in this game. This was an important game for the Goblins. Winning this would have not secured, but definitely would have put them in the top 4 for now. Then another foul and another stun. Another double skull. Smacks into that Pro Elf blitzer there. Yeah, nice blitz by Ripper on the ball carrier. No dodge. Down he goes. Come on. No offense. Oh, yeah, got to apoc that. Got to apoc that. Got a second level up on an Agility 5 catcher. No offense to the Pro Elves, I just consider you my biggest rivals in this season. And so, of course, I'm hoping that half your team gets wiped out before we meet each other. And now when we do meet each other, you're going to make me pay for every one of those comments, I'm sure. Down comes the troll. Getting some smacks onto the ball. But that looks awkward. Oh. Not too bad. Oh, makes the pickup. Goes for the handoff. Goes for the score. Pro Elves looking like they're trying to get a pretty big score line there. No, even a hint that we're going to stall this out. We're going to try and score as many touchdowns as we possibly can this game. That's 6 dead and injured on the Gobbos. That includes sent off players, of course, and 4 on the Pro Elves. I think that's still going to keep the numbers at a reasonable play. Oh, can he keep? He keeps the Bomber on the pitch. 2 turns to go. Still pretty good choice there. Stops the Elves from caging up too much, trying to keep into the looser cages. Then we have the kickoff. Oh. Now it'll be interesting to see if he does go for a throw teammate. Fails to pick up, still has a reroll. Maybe not, he's going to hit well, but moves Ripper forward, clears him off the tackle zone. 3 turns to go. Moving the Troll course further up the field means he can chuck the Goblin further into the half. And another really stupid. Not had too much bad luck on those really stupids this game. Goblin Trolls, you've got to take a bit more risk with them. You've got to hit with them. They've got the mighty blow. You can't afford to use them as roadblocks in the same way as, say, the Beast of Nurgle or a Troll on an Orc team. Down he goes. And another stun, but set up for quite an interesting look. Foul right there. Getting stuck in, look. Oh. Fumbles the bomb and an injury roll. And a niggle. Always entertaining. Just the nature of playing Goblins. They're either blowing you up or blowing themselves up. Yeah, trying to mitigate for the throw teammate. I'm pretty certain the Goblins are going to go for a throw teammate here. It's their only real chance of getting a touchdown. They have Ripper. He can get this elf off the pitch. And another stun. But that's put him into that puts him into a pretty good setup. If he does decide he's got a loner there, he probably doesn't want to throw teammate with the loner there. I could be wrong. He might not be thinking about going for it. No, he's just going to leave the ball behind. I think it would have been worth going for a throw teammate, getting the touchdown, but there is another side to that. It's not going to win him the game. He doesn't want to let those Goblins getting too leveled up. So, the touchdown's not worth as much on a Goblin team. And he's just going to punish those Pro Elves. And another stun. Well, as always with the Goblins, that's a very entertaining game. And I think in the final analysis that those Fanatics will put to some pretty good use there. My preferences put to one side. They did get some of those players off. Of course, they did a little bit of dancing around. That's just the nature of them. But when the Fanatics are behaving themselves as well as they did in this game, you can definitely see the appeal of them. Of course, it's a little easier for the Pro Elves to just dodge away from them, leaving them a little bit out in the open and not really near anything. But, he moved them back into pretty good positions. Did a bit of a risky go for it, but he had a re-roll. It's just he rolled 2 1s, and that happens. It happens in this game. At the beginning of that first half, it looked like the Goblins was still really in there with a real chance to go. But of course, the Pro Elves got their 2-0 victory. I think that most people would be expecting. The Pro Elf coach is an experienced player. I don't think this is a surprise result here. But so is the Goblin coach. The Goblin coach is a very experienced, very good coach. Even with Goblins, if you give him any kind of chance or you underestimate it just because it's Goblins, maybe we can talk him into maybe in the future trying Half Elves. That'll certainly make you all underestimate it, and he'll probably win the season. So, but a very entertaining game. Not sure what happened with Ripper in that first half. I'm sure that will get covered into the recap. Like I said, throwing the teammate in that second half, yes, it would have given him a touchdown. No, it wouldn't have won him the game. That would have given him star player points on a Goblin. He does want to try and get a few of them leveled up. He maybe wants 1 or maybe 2 more dirty player Goblins. Unfortunately, it looks like his current dirty player Goblin is leveled up. Obviously, the recappers will cover the skills that the leveled up players have achieved. It's not the end of the world, but it does mean when he fouls with him, if he ever does get sent off, that's more TV going off the game. What else do you give a dirty player Goblin? Sidestep. It's a very, very tricky choice. I mean, he'd be loath to sack him at this point because he's rolled a double and gotten dirty players. So it's always a difficult decision. But again, a great game. Congratulations to the Pro Elves for an actually well-fought victory. That was certainly not a walk in the park for them. In spite of my ribbing, I do look forward to playing them 2 rounds time. So hopefully everybody recognises it. It's a little bit of friendly ribbing, a little bit of a difference of opinion, and it is just opinion about what maybe the Goblins I would have taken if I had been Smithy. I probably would have gone for that extra chainsaw, even though I do concede that those Fanatics did do pretty well, and he did lose the chainsaw he had pretty early on. But overall, another entertaining and a good game. So I look forward to hearing Smithy gloat over the Pro Elf coach. See, guys, if you make your Blood Bowl names things I can't pronounce, then I'm not even going to attempt it. But once again, thanks for watching. Until next time, this is Bloodstains.